Hey, everybody, it's Roberta with Happy on the Home Front. Welcome to Thanksgiving. Let's get started with a grocery order. So I had Instacart deliver the last things that I needed for Thanksgiving this year. I'll be taking several dishes down the mountain to my son and daughter-in-law's house. And so I just had to order a bunch of things to get that finished up. And I've got a delicious candle burning by Gold Canyon. It is such a wonderful scent. And here's another look at all these groceries. So let's see what I'm gonna make. Oh, and I also had to order my favorite creamer of the season, the Coffee Mate Zero Sugar Pumpkin Spice. Oh, it's so delicious. If you've ever wanted to try the zero sugar creamers, this is the one to try. Okay, so I've got all the groceries parceled out into the dishes that I'm going to be making. Caramel cheesecake is up first, and I'm going to be using the Biscoff cookies as the crust. Homemade pumpkin pies, so delicious. Lemon bars, which were my son Corey's favorites. And we're also going to be having some yeast rolls. That's what my family voted for. Also, creamed corn from scratch, which I've never made before. So I'm very excited to try a recipe I found online, and it really does sound delicious. I really hope I don't forget to thaw these rolls in time so they can rise. I'm also going to be making lots of collards with bacon in there for seasoning, and I know that's going to make my husband so happy because he loves my homemade collards recipe. The recipe contains fresh thyme, apple cider vinegar, brown sugar, red pepper flakes, and more deliciousness. I hope to make cranberry sauce from scratch like I do every year, but if I don't, my son Ezra will eat these cranberries like they're grapes. I've got a lot to do, so I better get started. First up is the salted caramel cheesecake, and I have a springform pan, and I'm going to wrap it in heavy-duty aluminum foil, and then on top of that, some unbleached parchment paper. That will hopefully make my life easier when it's time to get this cheesecake out of the springform pan, and also make things easier when it's time for cleanup. I've wrapped my pan with foil and then parchment, and it's ready to go. It is 10.5 inches in diameter, so that's going to be a very, very large cheesecake. And in the midst of all of this cooking, my daughter's iPad decides to crash. And while I'm trying to cook, I spend 6 hours trying to fix the iPad. Also in the midst of stressful cooking and a broken iPad, the guinea pig decides to get hurt. So my youngest is taking care of her while she watches a show. I'm also trying to make dinner tonight because that is my husband's love language. He loves for me to cook, so we're having barbecue chicken, fresh green beans, and also cornbread, so I need to get busy. Okay, dinner is over, and I need to get started on this creamed corn recipe. I have butter and heavy cream with salt and pepper in the pan, and I'm going to be adding the bags of frozen corn, more heavy cream, and finally the grated Parmesan cheese. And here's a look at that so far. It smells delicious, and It actually is a really bright yellow color because the corn that I could find in the frozen section that was organic was all yellow corn. So it's a really pretty dish, and I think will be a nice addition to our Thanksgiving table. So I'm stirring this up, making sure that it's thickening the way that the recipe says it should. And I have all of the Parmesan cheese in there, and I'm combining that to make sure that it's well incorporated. So far, so good. I've never made this before, so I really hope my family likes it. Are you making anything new this year that you've never tried before? If so, leave it in the comments. Okay, it's day 2 the next morning, Wednesday morning, and the night before, I left out all my ingredients to get room temperature for this humongous cheesecake, including 4 blocks of cream cheese, some heavy cream, and some sour cream. Even though I explained this to my family the night before, my husband decided to use one of the cream cheese blocks to make my daughter breakfast. Here I'm making the homemade caramel sauce for the cheesecake, and of course it started with sugar and water that had to come to a boil, and I have the butter on standby to add to this mixture in the pot. But I gotta tell you, I am not good at this, you guys. I have this fear of overcooking homemade candy like this and it's sticking to the pot and just being this huge nightmare to clean. So you'll see in a very short time that I undercook the caramel. I have the cream on standby and the salt ready to go. And there's the butter waiting to do its job. There are my instructions because I have to keep reading those over and over and over, trying to figure out what this concoction is supposed to do, but it's definitely not getting dark amber colored. I'm stirring constantly so that it doesn't burn and stick, but you'll see it doesn't get very dark. So no, this is not it, Roberta. This is not it. This is not how it's supposed to look. It's too light, and it does not even look like caramel. It looks sort of like a light Werther's butter toffee. But I will tell you that the whisk I used to keep this from burning cooled off, and I tasted the caramel that was on it, and it was delicious. Okay, now I'm pressing the 1.5 packages of the Biscoff cookies into the pan, some sugar all over the bottom and up butter according to the recipe. That was 1.5 packages of those cookies crushed by hand into a little bit of sugar and a lot of butter. So I think that's going to make this extra delicious. Both my husband and my daughter love those cookies. So, and really, I'm making this dessert for them because they love cheesecake. Now I'm working on the filling, and it's almost done. 4 blocks of cream cheese. I've added 4 blocks of sour cream cheese. I've added sour sugar. I've added sugar. A little bit of salt, vanilla. I've added a little bit of salt. Ingredient, what else is in this stuff? I can't even remember. Here's the result before going into the oven at room temperature. It's so creamy, and here is the result before going into the oven to room temperature. It's so glossy, and this 10.5-inch pan is so very full, y'all. It's in the oven for the first 45 minutes. Let's hope it turns out well. And here is the result after a very long time. I had had to put this cheesecake on extra time because, the recipe always gives a range. And because my pan was a different size than the recipe, I wanted to be sure it was done. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you will jump into God's Word so that you too can be happy on the home front.